saying, look, at day 6, you are already a TV star. My name is Florent, and this is my husband Armand. We live in Paris, and we just became the lucky fathers of the Theo here, who is 6 days old.
Just to start off with the basics, tell me about yourselves. Tell me about how y'all met. What's your love story?
Okay, so should I start, Armand?
Yes, if you want.
Okay, so Armand and I met in college 10 years ago. Since then we've been together. We've been living first the last year of college, and then we moved to Paris. Armand moved to Paris, I moved to London for a year, and then we moved together in Paris, and that's when we started the real couple life, let's say that way. We had a happy couple life until we decided then to go to the next level. First it was getting married, and then it was deciding to...
Married in New York.
Yeah, we got married in New York because we were on a rotation for a year in New York, and then we came back to Paris after that, but we got married in New York, and right after coming back to New York, back in 2018, we decided it was time to start a family and have a child of our own.
How long have you been wanting to grow the family?
I think almost since the beginning of our relation. When I met Florent, he told me I really would like at some point of time a little boy or a little girl, but I would prefer little boy. So really at the beginning it was something we were aware of.
Yeah, I mean that's a long time project, but first we enjoy our life together, and then we decided we were ready. I think it was just like I said, when we came back from New York after I think 6 years of relationship, it was time to enjoy the next step.
What made you consider surrogacy?
So we tried first, to be honest, we initially tried to adopt a child. I don't know if that's the explanation, but for gay couples in France it was a bit complicated, so we got denied the right to adopt a child, and we could have gone into many legal steps to get the right. I think we were just a bit discriminated against, but that's great because the process to adopt a child took like a year and a half, and it was really about processing why we want to adopt a child. Do we understand what's the specific needs of an adopted child? And at the same time we were discussing surrogacy, and Armand was ready since the beginning. I was not, but this adoption process made me realize that the surrogacy process was suited us better.
Surrogacy in France is actually not completely legal. So how has that process of going to another country to have a baby been for y'all?
It's illegal in France to get a surrogacy.
I'd say it's not legal yet.
Yes, but it's not illegal to do it outside of the country and come back to France.
Yeah, so and for French gay couples, there are not that many options. I mean, there are plenty of options if you put the law next to you and you don't care about what's legal or not. But in a legal way, there are not that many countries that you can where you can do the surrogacy journey. There's the US and Canada, and after that it's barely legal, I would say. But here it's completely legal to do that in the US and come back to France. That's a double game from the French politicians. It's forbidden in France, but at the same time it's accepted that way.
How did y'all end up getting connected with her, and explain that process?
How did we end up getting connected with Sajada? I think, excuse me, first so in our searches we had to find a clinic in the US to do this process. So we found one in Texas because Texas was a fun state to do that, and we by doing research we found out that Texas was a friendly state for surrogacy, which was surprising because in France we have a very conservative view of Texas, and I guess it's a conservative state if you don't. So we were like, okay, it's super good for gay married couples. So let's do this in Texas. It's a great place to do it. So we found a clinic. Then we found a surrogacy agency that was based in Dallas, and they connected us with several surrogate mothers. And when we did the FaceTime with Sajada, because you do a FaceTime to see if you feel like you want to do this journey with them, and it immediately we say that's the right one. That's gonna be our surrogate. That's how we did.
From the beginning of you putting in that Google search, how long did it take for y'all to get connected with Jada?
Get connected with Jada. It's a long process, I would say. So overall, it took 2 years from the moment we initiated our Google searches to the moment Theo was born, and Sajada came right in the middle of that. So we started January 2021. We met with Sajada on December 21, and Theo was just born on December 31st, 2022.
Jada went into labor a little bit early. What was going through your minds when you got that call?
Okay, so I think we had the chance that Jada went to the ER the day before she went into labor. So she told us that she was bleeding a bit and we shouldn't worry. And then she was discharged and came back home. And at that point we said, okay, maybe he's gonna come earlier than expected, but no issue. And then the next day we just received a call. It was like New Year's Eve in France, so it was 5 p.m. in France. We were about to prepare ourselves for just having fun for the year's end. And then she said, I just went to the hospital and they told me that there's no way I'm gonna exit the hospital without the child. So I mean, without having they're leaving the child. So the child is coming either tonight or tomorrow. You should come, guys. And so what went through our minds was, okay, we need to hurry up, find a plane, a ticket to Dallas and come here a month earlier than expected. And it were 24 difficult hours, but or maybe 30 hours with time difference between Paris and Dallas. But in the end, throughout the journey, we knew that what was great is that we knew at some point that the baby was going to come before us being in the US and being able to welcome him to the new world. But at the same time, we were completely comfortable with the idea of Sajada taking care of him, and we knew that she would give him the love that we wanted to inject just right after he was born, and that's exactly what happened. So we had the chance to watch the delivery on FaceTime, which is great. And then we got to the airport and I was like, okay, so everything is just fine, and we can just focus on our trip, and then we'll meet this little one in a few hours, and she will take super good care of him in between, so there are no worries.
It's a big deal to miss the birth and everything, but it didn't feel that heavy, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we had to process the news, but at some point, you are I'm gonna say it in miles, let's try to like 6,000 miles from the place is gonna be there. I mean, there was nothing we can do. We could swim the ocean, run through the US. There was no way that we could be there on time. So you have to accept that. And of course, we were like, oh no, we're gonna miss the birth. That's maybe the most important moment. And then we were just like, we didn't miss the birth because we saw it live on FaceTime, and we really felt like we were here. We saw him. I mean, we even saw it better than some people because it's a, and we're gonna do a metaphor or comparison. It's like a football game. Sometimes you see it better from TV than being sitting in the stadium, right? I mean, that's silly to say that, but what's important was to be reunited, and we were just waiting for him. So yeah.
It was such a good analogy.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. I mean, yeah. Of course, we would have wanted to be here for the first 24 hours, but in the meantime, what's important is that somebody takes care of him. That's all. I mean, we were not here during the whole pregnancy, and we knew that he received all the love we wanted him to receive. He was part of Sajada's family for that time, and then I think a few days later after arriving here, like 2 days ago, Sajada shared some pictures with us, and basically her husband and her 2 children, they hold Theo for the first day when we were not here. So it was so nice to see pictures of them with him holding him in the hospital chair in Sajada's room. So we knew that it was just what you want a baby for the first few hours, is just to feel the warmth of people, and that's exactly what happened. So we were relieved.
Watching the delivery on FaceTime.
Yeah.
Explain that. I mean,
Do you want?
It was 2 a.m. in Paris, so we were almost sleeping, but it's complicated to sleep in this situation. And Sajada called us on FaceTime, and we spoke like maybe 1 minute and said, "Oh, the baby is coming." She gave her phone to her husband, and then we saw the delivery of Theo. It was really unexpected for us to see the delivery, but I think it's really good memories we will keep forever.
Yeah, I think as a father, you realize that. I mean, probably you realize that your father once you hold your child. So it was a bit unrealistic. I mean, it was just strange to when we hung up. I was telling Armand, can you imagine? Now we are fathers. But we were so far away from him, so throughout the trip after watching the delivery live on FaceTime, it was like, can you imagine, we're fathers, and then it just all makes sense once you hold him. But it's true that I think of course it's a bit different from being here live, because you don't hold him in your arms right after the birth. But we're also super grateful to be able to watch him coming to life. So we heard the first cries. We saw the hospital staff cleaning him, gave it back to Sajada, because we agreed with her that she would do the skin to skin with him, because it was super important for us to have him skin to skin, and we were not here, so we wanted her to do that. So we watched the first moment of skin to skin. He was just moving his arms, so we got the nice moments, but at the same time we were not realizing what was happening. It's like watching a movie. It's not your life yet, but it was alive.
Are you okay with us sharing that his name is Theo?
Yeah.
I won't share too many details.
How would you pronounce that? Theo or Theo?
I read it as Theo, like Theodore, but it's Theo.
No, it's just that. So I came here saying it's Theo, and so we arrived a day after the birth, and everybody at the hospital, they were saying, "Oh,
it's
Theo."
Theo.
And I was like, but I thought in English you pronounce that Theo.
How big was he when he was born?
6.5.
6.5, yeah, and
19
19 and a half.
19 and a half.
It's just that we do have the metrics, so like 49 centimeters and 2.86 kilos, but then converting it to pounds and inches is a bit more complex.
Has your family been supportive of this?
Oh yes, totally. I think the grandmother and grandfather was really happy about this news, and our siblings too. So yes, they are involved, not from the beginning, but I think since almost 1 year now.
You're gonna go back and have lots of gifts with Theo.
Yes, definitely. We do a lot of FaceTime with the family right now.
So when he gets a bit bigger, are you gonna tell him about Sajada and her family?
Of course.
Of course, we plan to create a book with this journey for this little Theo, because it's important for him to know his story. His story is a little bit, I think, awesome and particular. So yes, I think it's a part of him, and he needs to know.
We're creating a book with pictures of everything, and we even took a picture of your TV station saying, look, at day 6 you are already a TV star. No, so that's something that we discussed a lot because it was important for us, not for him to learn at some point that he went through. It's a surrogate baby or whatever. And the best way to move forward is to prepare this book in the first month of his life, and then read the story all the time. Since even now, like in a month from now, until he's 3 years old, to each week or each month read this book and show him, oh, that's where you came from, in Texas, in Abilene. And we spent the first week with Sajada. She took care of you. So that's exactly how we intend to proceed, so that basically we'll be aware of how he grew up, how he was born. You will be aware of that since day one, basically.
It's a little early. You're 6 days old, but do you think you'll do this again?
Maybe it's a possibility. It's an option.
He's nice and quiet right now. He might not stay that way.
I mean, it's a tough journey, for sure. It's a tough journey. So it took 2 years. There are some ups and downs, difficult moments, but the result
And
is
you can remind him of
just.
that.
Sorry?
You can remind him of that.
Yeah,
He's growing your
really
mind.
reminded of that. But yeah, I think the results is just awesome. So maybe.
What would you say to other couples looking to go through surrogacy?
What would you say?
It's complicated. It's like a roller coaster for emotions, but I think it's really worth it.
Yeah, be strong.
Yes, be strong
Be
and
strong.
prepare to a lot of challenges. But at the end, you're really happy, and you have something that you didn't expect. All the love we receive, all the. Yes.
Everybody will be super kind with you, even in France. When you talk to social security, that's a bit. That's a bit unusual what we are doing. So everybody is just so helpful. I talked about Abilene, but it was the same in France with our family, then with our professional colleagues, then with any service of the state that you need to have. Everybody's just super helpful. So it's a tough journey. Sit tight. It's gonna be difficult because it involves many steps, but in the end we haven't encountered or met anybody that was trying to prevent us from doing that. Everybody was just helping us, so you'll be helped. Since it's the local Abilene News TV station, just like to share that we exited the hospital on Tuesday evening. And since then, we've been going to the hotel, to the restaurant, to the shops, the local shops, and walking around the city and with Sajada and also by ourselves. And we just found very welcoming people. So I guess that it's a really nice city, and we really thank everybody because they're just like, oh, look at this. And then we tell them a bit about our journey, because for basic stuff like you buy something, they ask for your phone number for loyalty customer card, and they say, oh, but we're not from here, and they're like, but you get a toddler. And we say, oh, yeah, but we went through surrogacy and he's just 4 days old, and everybody's just like super welcoming and helpful. So thanks a lot. I don't know if anybody's watching here of that we met, but I just wanted to say that we were super impressed by the welcome, the big welcome we received, and we receive everybody we go with Theo.